Okay, so coming back to this. So if you want to grep, like what is the likely syntax is going to be grep followed by first what is that you want to search and then the file name and then the file name. You can in fact sometimes you want to search for the same content, same word or same string in a multiple files. So you want to specify what you want to search and then the file name 1, file name 2, file name 3. Then it should display in all those files wherever the corresponding thing is existed. Right? Let us look into that particular aspect. It is a simple concept again. Once you understand this particular thing, now what I will do is to modify this and save as what is this actually grep. Let us call it as grep only. Grep.java. So naturally, the file or the corresponding name also should be grep here. Right? So public class grep. And then, like what to do? So you are likely to call public static void main string followed by args. Now, what are you going to get here? Arguments. The likely usage is going to be like this: Java, and then followed by grep. This is actual command. And after this, what you want to search. Right? So what is a search word? You can say search word. And after that, files. After that, file 1. You want to search even in file 2. Like this, any number of files you can actually specify. At least one file must be specified, and more than that, it is up to us. So that means two arguments will be there at least, and more than that might be there. Now, so you are trying all that, like so. In other words, so what we shall do is, so the appropriate thing can be, so here, first of all, there should be two arguments, and which can be accessed through 0 and 1. So first verify whether the user is what it is using the command properly or not. How do you do that? If args dot length, right? Args dot length, it should be at least equal to 2. Greater than or equal to 2, you can continue. Otherwise, you should display the usage. If args dot length is less than 2, that means the user is not using this like
Sir, voice is breaking.
voice is breaking. Is it so for everybody?
No, sir.
What do I have to do?
No, sir.
If voice is breaking, or if it is a problem from my end, then it will be a problem to all the candidates. If it is a problem from your end and I am okay, then I will be like the content will be okay for everybody except you. Probably what I am receiving is that others are they are not facing any issue. So that means please rectify from your end. Okay, so anyhow, coming back to this now. So first verify whether the user is using the command properly or not. So if args.length is less than 2, that means the user is not using the command properly. Then normal practice is to display the usage part of it, how to use this command. So you can say println, right? So how to use usage, right? You are helping the user. How to use it? Usage is going to be Java followed by search word, search word. After this, files. So we'll say file names or file names dot dot something like this. Which what it means is any number of file names can be indicated. Right. After this, now you want to terminate the program. You want to terminate the program so that the user can again enter it. There are different ways you can terminate. One way is probably you can even say system dot exit. You know whether any parameter is required for this or not. So that let me verify here by just going through one of these particular thing.
So how about if we use break, sir?
బ్రేక్ ఎక్కడ వాడతాం లూప్ లో వాడతాం మనం
Loop,
లూప్ లో
yeah.
లేం కదా ఇక్కడ
Mm-hmm.
యు ఆర్ ఇన్ అ కండిషన్
Condition means break, no, sir? If we use here?
No. Loops. So
Only
wherever
loop.
repetition is there, only in such cases you can use break or continue. If is not a repetition, it only happens once or zero or one. Whereas a for loop, a while loop, do while loop, so that kind of things you can use break and all that. Okay. So coming back to this, so there is a way by which you can exit the total program anywhere for that matter, right? Let me show you like what are the methods that are there in system class methods, right? System class methods. So there will be one of the method called exit there that may require a parameter or may not be. That's why I'm just looking at it. So these things you can see here, exit of int status terminates the currently running Java virtual machine. And you can specify the what is the exit status. Exit status means actually whether the program is terminated normally or abnormally. Normal termination will always be exit with 0. Abnormal termination is you have to specify some number indicating that because of some reason it has terminated. So you can say system dot exit of some 0 kind of it. So you can say 0. It's a normal termination except that the user has not used it properly. So in other cases probably you can always specify, especially when you fail to open a file, you can exit with some what it is exit status or exit value. So you are terminating. See this system dot exit, no matter wherever you use it, right, within your program, not necessarily in the main method or anywhere for that matter, you run this, it's going to terminate the total program. It need not again come back to the main and all that. So whenever you want to terminate for certain reason, you can use the system dot exit of 0 kind of it, right? So you have terminated. If everything is okay, now you are going to invoke the corresponding thing. So we can also develop a small method called grep only. So we'll say grep of what is to be done? Args of 0, args of 1. Actually, it will be something different. We will extend that logic a little later. For the time being, grep of args of 0 is actually what is the word that you want to search. Args of 1 is the actual file where you want to search for that and then display those lines that match that particular. Okay, so grep of args of 0, args of 1. Now we have to build the grep method. So where the first parameter is the word that you want to search, second parameter is the file name that you want to search. Now you will go back to the beginning of this particular thing. Then instead of display now, you call it as grep. So here it takes 2 parameters. So we say string followed by the first one is not the file name, but it is the actual search word. So probably I will call it as SW. You can give any name and just search word, and then the other one is a file name. Other one is a file name. So this is what you are actually specifying. And this is likely to throw an exception because whenever it fails to open a file, maybe all that is likely to happen. If you want to display the line along with the line number also, you can have a count of that. You can have a count of that. So let us also have a count and then display the line number along with that one so that it gives some more idea, right? So string line, as usual, you try to open a file. So opening is very much required even now. And then until the end of the file also, you have to keep reading. Now you can see here what to do. When is that a particular line is to be displayed? You should not display every line. You should display only those lines that contain the corresponding matching word or whatever, right? So that logic you have to build now. So instead of what it is, instead of printing this straight away, you should have something like this, if. Now, how to know, how to verify whether a particular string contains a word or not, right? That's what you'll have to look at now. So in the string class, there is a method called index of. In the string class, there is a method called index of. Right? So you can actually go into this. Probably here you don't know like whether any such facility is there. We can straight away queue here, or otherwise we can go anywhere for that matter. Index or help. It's okay. So let me. He has not given this search facility. So string methods. So once you have the basic understanding of the knowledge strongly, then you can use all these things, right? No issue. There are many methods, in fact, and one among them happens to be index of. Index of here. You can see here index of method returns the position of the first found occurrence of specified characters in a string. Okay, in case it is not there, then what it returns, to know a little more details about it, is going to give all them. Returns the position of the first occurrence of the specified characters in a string. Similarly, last index of, and there is another method, it returns the last occurrence, right? Whatever. So, and it is giving a little bit more kind of things and all that, right? Actually, it returns negative number. Whenever it fails, it returns -1, right? So, because 0 is the starting index. As you can see here, a little bit more details. An int value representing the index of the first occurrence of the character in the string, or -1 if it never occurs. So, whenever it fails, it returns -1. So, how to use this? Is a straightforward case. How can you use it? Index of followed by a particular string. So, what is that you want to actually, what it is? Take a look into that particular thing. As you can see here, so this is the main string dot index of substring. That is how you'll have to use it. That means whatever the line that you have read, on that line dot index of what is that you want to search for. That is how you'll have to give it. So you can come back to this now. If line dot index of all capital combination is very much important, case sensitive. Index of what? What is the word that you are interested? The user has already supplied SW. SW is what you would like to distinguish. If this value is greater than 0 or is not equal to -1, right? That is what you mean to say. Whenever this is not equal to -1, then only you have to display it. Right? Then only you have to display it. And remember, irrespective of that, line number should always be increased. So that's why what we shall do is, let us have the line number here as 0 to begin with. Every time you increase the line number by 1, every time. Every time you increase the line number by 1. Here, you increase it by 1, irrespective of that, ln plus plus. And then if line dot index of SW is not equal to -1, then only you print it. Right? It is a simple condition. So because only a single statement, so you can say system dot out dot printf percentage is this thing. Line number here, it should not be increased again. It should be only print the ln value and then line. So that means, as you can see here, just by adding a simple logic, main logic is the same. You are continuously opening the file and reading line by line. Earlier, we used to display every line along with the line number, whereas now only those lines that contain this particular thing. And how do you know that? By appropriately using an appropriate logic here. If line dot index of SW is not equal to -1, print this particular. That's all, right? So the remaining thing is going to be the same. I think we must have got it. Let us now try to run this. So this is, let me copy full file path, current directory path to clipboard, then this thing, this one, CD. So now Java C followed by that grep. Okay. No errors as it is. No issues. Now how are you going to this thing? You say Java followed by grep. You don't supply any arguments, nothing. And what it says, it is going to give you the usage. Usage is Java, search word, file names. That is how you'll have to give it. So Java followed by search word. Search word is, let us say, int. Right? Int is there. This is the word that you want to search. In the same file, let us say grep.java itself. You can search in any text file. And grep.java is a text file. So when you give it, could not find or load main class int. Okay. So actually we have not run the program properly here. Here you'll have to specify Java followed by grep. Java grep, that is the actual command. Java grep, complete command is that. And after that, the command line argument. So we have missed the command line argument earlier. This is the actual complete command. This is the actual complete command. Java is not a command. Java followed by the class name. You'll have to specify that. Right? And after that, int is the first word command line argument. Grep.java is the second command line argument. Now when you do like this, it is displaying line number 4, int is there. Line number 13 also int is there. Because int means it is looking for a substring called int in that. So within the print here, you have the int. You have the int here. That's why it is displaying even that. You don't want to see that, for example. Right? So one way is actually while running the command itself, you should be able to do that. It's not just simply int. After int, there should be a space, let us say. So if you want to give like that, then you have to include a double quote there while running it. So when you give a double quote followed by this, then this entire thing becomes a single argument. This entire thing becomes a single argument. And space also is there as a part of it. You are searching for int followed by space. In which case, printf, println will naturally be eliminated. Right? So if you are clearly looking for that particular thing, then you are going to get line number 4. Right? And so on. See, slowly you should cultivate the habit of writing programs, understanding them, right? And that's going to give you confidence so that at the end of by the time you come to the second year, you will have the required necessary skills to do the project. Whereas if you don't, take up these labs seriously, then you will not have the programming skills and you will always be hesitating. Right? Any questions on this now? On this particular program? It is simply including a simple logic, line dot index of. So like that, there are many. Any questions? It's okay. Are you following? I'm posting all these things even onto that Mediafire, but it's not. It's a wrong choice because it is every time like only a single file can be downloaded and lot of like discomfort is there. Like while downloading, I know that. But if you are downloading one file at a time, no issue. Maybe I will update a little later because I don't have enough space on the Gmail. That's why I have to use some other storage external to that. Right, that's okay. Like you can share among yourself by just simply zip that and then put it onto WhatsApp group or whatever, all that. Right. So I'm just posting even those things onto that. All right. So coming back to this now. So simply now again, just putting it like right now, like what it is, only a single file we have given. The logic, as you can see here, only once you are calling. Instead of this, if you want to work on multiple files, search for the same, then you require a for loop, a kind of a loop. For every file, you have to repeat that. For every file, you have to repeat that. So that means you require here a kind of a small for loop. So you have a for each loop also, in fact. So you can say for string, in which case it's going to start right from the first itself. So that issue is there. Instead of for each loop, like we can go for corresponding length and all that. So for int I equal to 0, strictly speaking, 1 onwards, 0th one is the actual search word. From 1 onwards, the file names are there. So you say for I equal to 1, I less than args dot length. That means for every corresponding thing. So strictly less than, because 0 to n minus 1, altogether n. So that's why this is required, and I plus plus. So curly brace begins. Now you have to invoke. Like this. What else? So you are calling the method grep, and for every file, the search word is going to be r sub 0 only. Whereas the actual file, every time that you invoke, the file name should change. Change to r sub I. So that you are calling the r sub I on all the arguments. So even if it is only one file name you specify, it's going to happen one time. So otherwise, and all that. So especially when there are multiple files, it's also better to display the file name. So that's why a small change you can make it onto display kind of thing. So here what we can do is display the file name also, so that that kind of statistics is going to actually give you. So what it is, here you are going to specify system dot out dot print what it is. You can specify like then it's going to say so and so and all that. So we'll say println only. That's better. Println of file name. So essentially, so what is the file name here? File name is the corresponding thing, fn. Fn is the file name. We know that. Println of just simply file name like this. Let us say it's going to print a file name. Then all the other details. So let us see here. So you can think of what should be the appropriate format and all that. So you're displaying the file name. You are also displaying all the lines that are matching within that particular entity. So now, so small change. In the logic, you are displaying the file name. In the main logic, you are repeating it for every file name. So that's what you are actually doing. So come back to this particular thing. And then, for example, compile. You have to compile first to begin with. Java C followed by this. That's okay. Then you want to so Java C followed by grep. And then what is that you want to search for? Maybe integer only. Let us see. Then multiple files you want to. Let us say if you say star.java. I don't know whether it works or not. You can see here the magic. Whether it has happened or not happened, we'll have to see here. No. So invalid flag int. So it's saying int is a flag or something. Java C options source files. Oh, sorry. This is not compiler, right? It is command. Java followed by grep followed by all that. See here now. So when I'm giving star.java at the time of this, your interpreter here, command line interpreter, is expanding star.java into all the Java files.
Calling the names of Java files. Calling the names of Java file too.
Right. Right. So that's the advantage, right? So you can use the regular expression. And then it is doing all that. Let me just, because it is running very quickly, so you pipe it to a more, so that it displays screen by screen. Right? It is running very fast, right? Now we will say, just pipe it to more. And then when you give it, so it is displaying this. So now what it is saying, add two numbers.java. So why is that it is saying so many times? This is not a right thing, right? That means we must have put it inside the inside a loop, right? So this is not the right logic what I'm actually thinking. Let's come back to this. Where you are putting the file name display? File name display must be put outside that. Oh, so you are put inside this thing. That's the problem, right? So for every line, it is displaying the file name. So that's not required, right? Only once you have to display the file name. So this thing should be kept outside the while loop. Must be kept outside the while loop. So that just before reading the lines, you are going to display the file name. And then all that particular thing. So that all the matching lines within that file are going to be displayed. And so on. Only one time the file name must be displayed, right? It is a common sense. So we are updating that particular thing. And again compile it. And again compile this. Now you try to run this. Java followed by star.java. Something we have done. This one. Java, not Java C. Java grep int followed by star.java. And on this, you go for pipe followed by more. Now, if you see, add two numbers.java file name, and then within that, you have 7th line, there is an int, 10th line, there is one more. That is over. And again, second file, add two numbers 2.java. There is something. Command line argument, there is something. Data representation. But there may be some files that may not contain any matching of this thing, right? So, like this, you have to think of a particular problem, how the input should be, how the output should be, and you must have control over what you are actually doing. So, the same simple like logic itself, you can keep learning many more things while doing all that and so on.
Sir,
So, I think all of you must be following what you're doing, and it's a nice program now, so that it's able to open the file of every file there as a part of it, right? So
Sir,
this
this is irrespective of the case, no, sir? Either lower case or upper case?
yes, it is such like case
Yeah,
sensitive.
it-
Searching is case sensitive. If you don't want case sensitive, also you have ignore like is there what your string dot ignore case match kind of thing. So all those things. So all those things where you can learn, you have to look for methods inside the string class. Methods inside the string class. The best thing is not actually this W3 schools and all that. A complete list if you want, always Oracle reference. Basically Java class reference, where it's going to give complete list. Whereas the tutorials, they will only talk about some of the important methods on that particular class. There may be many more, but he's going to go give some light on few useful methods and explain the examples and all. Complete list always only on complete reference kind of it. On Oracle site is one thing. Similarly, there may be other things. So W3 schools also sometimes might provide. I don't know. So here somewhere at the end, you might specify the reference, complete reference kind of it. That's what you require. Let us see whether he is giving any access to that. Reference, keywords, string methods, Java reference. He is saying Java string methods. So like this, he is actually giving anyhow. Just now he is asking like ignore and all that. There must be index of is there, but this is not complete again. That's why you are not actually finding it. Okay. No. It's not the complete thing. Anyhow, so for example, the best thing is here Java string reference. Always reference means you will get Oracle website. This is the actual site. So these are the field summary, constructors, what are the various constructors that are possible, and then the method summary. In the method, you have caret in order to extract an individual character. Similarly, code pointer. So what is the character, Unicode character there? Like that, compare to, if you want to compare two strings, you use the method compare to. Similarly, compare to ignore case. Right? Irrespective of the, without case sensitivity, it should compare. It should treat small a and capital A as equal. When you use compare to ignore case. When you want to treat small a and capital A separate, then you should use normal compare to. That is how it is. Similarly, contains, content equals, like this. Similarly, like when you go beyond, so you'll find index of is there, index of for a single character, index of for a single character starting from a specific index in the main string. By default, it starts searching from the first character itself, 0th character. If you want to start search from some other place, you can specify that offset index also. Right? So last index of is there. So like that, length is there, offset is there, replace. You don't have to remember all these things. You have to have a habit of every day doing some programming for 1 or 2 hours. On a daily basis, you need to learn few things, right? And then it becomes a part of you. It's not that you forcibly try to remember it all. So anything that you are regularly using will become a part of you. And because you have chosen computer science field, and whenever you want to go for development and that kind of thing, so naturally you have to put in concerted effort on a daily basis. So if you want to find for string only at the beginning, not anywhere in the middle, then you have another important method called starts with. Right? Whether a particular line starts with something or not, you want to. Then starts with is a good thing. Similarly, whether some line ends with something or not. For that also you have another one. So just go through these things. Some of them are going to be useful for you. Okay, so let's move on to another example. What we have actually planned. Grep we have done it. Now split is there. That means, let us take some CSV file and then do some operation on that. And then do some operation. So probably like we can mix these two. While it is split as well as hash map, these two together we are going to cover it. So split, what it does is actually, it takes a string and split that string into multiple strings, multiple substrings. For example, let us say you have a CSV file. CSV stands for comma separated file. For example, you have something like some name of the candidate is Amala, and her phone number is let us say 9848012345. Like this, there may be many such entries are there in your file. Let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 also, whatever. Like this, there may be many entries in a file. Now, what are you going to do? You will read one line. Already you are familiar with how to read one line. So when you read one line, this is what you get. Now you want to, this line contains multiple data. So you have a name as well as a mobile number. So what to do now? You must have some mechanism to split that. So that is what is called a splitting. You are splitting a string so that, so when you split this particular thing, Amala, this thing, you are going to get Amala as one string and a 9848 or whatever as another one. Right? Like this, separately. And then you can work on it, what to do and all that. So maybe you want to search whenever like the name is given, what is the telephone number of the candidate. So some utility like that you want to write. Right? So for that, there is a method called split method on this thing. So what you can do, so line dot split. Line dot split. You can specify the what is the delimiter that you want to use. For example, a comma. Comma is a delimiter. So you can say like that. So that means wherever a comma comes, up to that point one item, and from that comma to the next comma there is another item, and so on like that. And this is going to return. What is going to be returned by this? An array of strings. It is returning string arrays, right? So naturally, what it returns is string array. So you can collect that into a string array and then do something. Still, they are all strings only, right? Even this number also is a string. Remember, whenever you enter into a text file and all these things are string of characters, not including the numbers. If you want to work on a number, you have to convert that into, so again, convert that into integer or float or double or whatever, all that kind of stuff. Now let us develop a small program whereby you have a phone database as a CSV file, phones.csv. So like a corresponding name followed by that. So you want to load or read that entire file, store them into memory so that you want to provide a search facility. User can enter a name of the candidate and the system will give you the corresponding phone number. Right? So in fact, the same thing can as well be done by using grep command. Grep also is doing a part of it. So let us see that, both the things separately, and then look at it, what we can do. Right? So our thing is right now, we want to develop another program. And let us call it as save as, followed by. This is a mobile search, right? Mobile search. Mobile or phone search, either way you can specify. Phone search. Phone search.java. This is what you are actually saying. And then come to the beginning. As usual, you have to import all those things. Change the name of the like this, phone search. So here instead of grep, you call it as maybe search. You call it. We'll see like what to do and all that. Search is one thing, but before searching what to do, normally there are two steps here. The first step is to load all the data from a file into the memory. You don't read every time the file, every time you want to search. You don't read that. The better technique is load all the names and along with the phone numbers into the memory. And after loading, you are going to have some data structure where like all the details are already there inside. And then like what you call, and then you can search for a particular thing and all. For that, there are different things in fact. Let me take you to one of the useful, like what it is, useful class called as collections actually. Java provides a framework. Framework means actually a little bit bigger than a class. So essentially, it's going to give a big collection, like a collection of classes, right? Essentially. So collections means here in Java, you can store multiple values into such kind of classes. Array is a kind of a collection. It's not truly, but you can store many values into an array. That's why you can call it as a type of a collection. But array restriction is that its size cannot grow, cannot shrink, cannot change. And items can be accessed from an array only by using an index. And that index can only be a number. It cannot be a name, kind of it. You can't search through a name. You can only search through an index. You have to specify what is there in 10th index. Give me that. Give me the 20th index, what data is available. But you can't ask for, give me something that is stored in Amala or Amar, that is stored in Bharat. You can't give a string as an index. But you have some useful collections where a string also can be used as a kind of an index. And such collections we normally call them as tables or as maps. They are actually stored in the form of key value pairs. It is a different data structure. You might study in data structures course. It is a hash map, right? Or hash table. Earlier it used to be hashing. It uses hashing so that it uses a technique whereby depending upon what you want to search, that itself is used to store as well as retrieve. So the memory address is actually calculated based on what you are actually storing. So there are a number of collections here. So this is a hierarchy of collections. The iterable, then collection, list is a collection, queue is a collection, set is a collection. So you have array list, linked list. All the blue colored ones, you can't create objects out of them. They are all interfaces or abstract classes. Whereas green colored ones, those are all the actual classes using which you can create objects. Right? So that is how he is actually explaining. So there must be some more methods probably. Some of the classes are not visible. As set is there, sorted set, queue, on that. Is not giving the complete list here. We are actually looking for another one. Hash map. There is a class called hash map. We will talk about that. Right. So these are the collections class, but let us come to the hash map here. This is a part of it. See here, hash map is the array list. Array list is again one of the collections. Array store items as an ordered collection. Ordered collection means first item, second item. For every item, there is a like a previous element, there is a next element. That's what you mean by ordered means. And you have to access them with an index number, all that. A hash map, however, store items in key value pairs. And you can access them by an index of a different type, not necessarily integer. So you're saying, for example, string. It can be anything, any other data type, in fact. So one object is used as a key, and that key becomes the index to another object associated with that is called as value. It can store different types, string keys and integer values, or so on like that.
Dictionary, no?
Huh?
Dictionary.
Right. Dictionary also is the same, right? So another word for the same. All these things, hash tables, hash maps, dictionaries, they all, and another thing called associative arrays, all these things are synonymous names in the computer science field. So depending upon what language you are using, the names might sometimes change. But the basic concept behind all of them is key value pairs. Using the key, you try to store the value into a specific location. While retrieving also, because you are going to supply the same key, use the same logic and see whether an item is there or not. In case it is there, it is going to give you the value. If it is not there, it's going to tell you, no, it's not there. So search becomes faster here by employing some kind of hashing algorithms. Hashing algorithms are employed so that search can become very quick. You are not going to compare the first item, second item, not matching and all that kind of thing. No comparison here. So what you are actually doing is you are deciding what is the memory where the key value must be stored based on the key, or based on the keys corresponding content, right? So based on that, it's going to do it by using hashing algorithms. But how are you going to use it in Java? This is how it is. This is available in java.util package. So import java.util.hashmap or star, everything will come. And then how are you going to declare this? So in order to declare this, you say hashmap of. So because there are two things, key and value. So what is the data type of the key? What is the data type of the value? You have to specify. So you are saying here, both are strings, hashmap of string, comma string. For example, in our case, you want to search based on a name. So name is a string here. And then the other one, if you want, you can specify an integer here. Or you can treat that as a string itself. No issue. So hash of string, comma string. In this case, he is giving, this is the variable name, is equal to new hash map of string, comma string followed by this. So by using this, right? So what are you doing? You are creating an empty hash map. You are creating an empty hash map with capital cities. No data is still there. You have only created an object which is ready to add new capital cities and all that, right? So once you create a hash map object, only on that you can keep adding, right? This step is very important. Now, how are you going to add them? By using a put method. So you can see here the complete program, import java.util.hashmap, public class main, static void main, all that, hash map of, this is the declaration. Up to this, now we have already seen. How do you declare actually? Because this is a class, right? This is a class, all of you know it. Just now we said. And how do you create an object of any class? By using the keyword, new keyword. And after new, what do you specify? Class name. This is the class name, same class name. And after that, because this is a constructor, right? So you are using the parentheses here. You are using the parentheses. That's why you are using, this is a constructor, new followed by hash map of string, comma string, constructor you are using. After this now, you can keep adding. How are you going to add on this object? Capital cities dot put of. This becomes the key now. England capital city is London. Germany capital city is Berlin, and so on. Once you store like this, at any point of time now, you can ask, so what is this? England, Germany, Norway, these are the keys actually. And these are the values. You can search on the keys very fast. Given this, it's going to retrieve this very quickly by using the what it is, these hash search algorithms there and all that. This is only printing here. But if you want to retrieve something while storing, you are using the put method. While retrieving, there is another method called get method. Here, capital city is not get of key value. Given this England, what it returns? It returns like London. In case you give a city for which, a country for which there is no data that is available, then this get method returns null value. Whenever it fails to retrieve the data because it's not added, so you are going to get a null value. So that is how you can verify whether it is there or not in your database. Similarly, if you want to remove something, you can remove based on the key again, based on the key, remove. So you have the methods now. Clear is going to clear or remove all the items, right? It's going to clear everything, but an empty hash map will be there, and you can keep again putting new elements there and all that, right? So with this now, let us develop a small logic. Let us develop a small logic. So phone search. So two things. First thing is to load the data. The second one is to search that. So to begin with, let us actually write down the load action. Load the data. So while loading, what data, what information do you require? We require what is a file that contains the actual data to be loaded. So public static void load of string file name. And it's going to load all of that into some data structure, right? Into some data structure. So what we can probably do is to pass on a hash map to this as a parameter so that it's going to do that. That is also one possibility. Or the other one is we have to maintain another thing and all that. So there are different solutions actually. Like unfortunately, I cannot go into all of them. I'm just making as simple as possible. So here, one possibility is to pass the hash map also as a parameter to this. Otherwise, if you create a hash map inside the load, then that is not visible. That's not going to be available to the main method, right? So that's not going to be available to the main method. So that's why. So what we shall do is, let me pass a parameter. That is the easiest thing actually. That's why I'm just using for the time being hash map of string, comma, another string, key value, this thing, data type, this thing. This is only a class name you have to specify. Hash map of string, comma, string. And what is the parameter corresponding to this? So it is, for example, what are we storing? We are storing the phone numbers. So we'll say phones or mobiles, phones, or whatever. I think PH is good enough for the time being, right? So hash map of string, comma, string. So essentially these are generic classes we normally call them. So now line numbers and all that you don't require. So we can remove this. But you require the line. We need to read and open all of them. No issue. Then as long as this, now whenever you break it, you have to remove it. Now what is to be done? What is to be done is that you have to split. Let us assume that your file contains everything properly. Because error condition and all that logic becomes too complex. So too many lines. So you have read the line. If it is the end of the file, then definitely it is always there, no issue. Otherwise, there is a data. Now you have to split that line and get into that, right? So what we can do is, we require a string array variable. String array variable. Let us declare that. String array. This is a string array. And all the the corresponding this thing. So what shall we call them? You will have the name as well as the phone numbers. Maybe some data what shall we call it is lines or words. So let me call it as words, right? words or substrings, any of them. So essentially, what are you saying? Words is an array of strings, but you have not yet created. But that is going to be, how is going to come from the split this thing. And do we have to import something? Because you are using you have to import. One more import is required. Import Java dot. Because you are trying to split, right? And split is available in util class. So util dot star semicolon. Coming to this. So what is to be done? So words equal to line dot split. Comma is a delimiter. Comma is a delimiter. That is how we are assuming. You can use any other delimiter also, right? But you have to use appropriately here based on that. So now what are you going to get? You are going to get words of 0, words of 1, words of 3, like that. All of them will be there as a part of it. Now words of 0 will be your what you call the candidate name, and words of 1 will be mobile number. So candidate name becomes the search criteria. So that becomes the key. That becomes the key. And the other one and all that. Now you have to add, right? So how are you going to do that? ph dot put. Put now. Words of 0. Words of 0. What is the syntax of this? For put. So you have to specify both, right? So you can see here. So this is the one. Put followed by key, comma, value. Both the things you have to specify. So words of 0 is the key. Words of 1 is a value. That's it. So it is continuously going through that, and ultimately it has actually added all of them. Added all of them. In fact, probably like I think I want to change the signature of this for a better purpose. Actually, instead of load, so what I shall do is I will make load method to return that rather than pass a parameter that, because that is going to be a lot more flexible. You can analyze why I am saying like this. Hash map of string comma another string. It is returning an object. So that you don't have to do that in the main method actually. Public static hash map of string comma string load. It's going to return a hash map object. So internally you are going to create, and that is going to be returned. That is a better technique actually, because loading, we should specify only the file name. What is the file that you want to load is more appropriate. So passing this additional parameter is a burden. It's not a correct way of design. That's why I'm just saying. So I'm changing the signature. That way also you can, but the signature will be somewhat different. But now what are you saying? Load is a method that takes a file name as a parameter and returns a hash map after creating all of that. But then the hash map is to be created inside, right? Because whereas in the earlier case it is created elsewhere and then that is passed. Whereas now you have to create that. So how are you going to do that? That creation is going to happen inside itself. Hash map followed by string, comma, string. This is equal to new hash map of string, comma,
Object, sir.
huh? Yes. Questions? hash map of string comma string equal to new hash map of string comma string. So you have created an empty hash map. And only after that you can keep adding. Now you have to specify the corresponding hash map name, right? What is the variable name? That is required here. PH, phones, or whatever. That is what we have thought about. PH equal to this. So you have created a hash map called PH, an empty hash map called PH. And to that you can keep adding. So after going through this particular thing, now you are reading each one of them. And what are you going to do it? You are going to return corresponding hash map. So whoever is going to call this particular method called load is going to get a hash map object. And that object can be stored on that particular main method or whatever, right? And then assign it and so on like that. This is a very simple this thing. Hash map corresponding. Now let us go into the main method. So it's not this thing. This is actually phone search. Phone search. Phone search. And after that, what is to be specified? Only a file name. What is the file that contains the list? And inside the main, you can keep actually asking the user to enter a candidate name, and all that, right? That is the idea. So let us see now, try only a single parameter, essentially. And let us assume that he is likely to use the properly there as a part of it and all that. All this big logic, I'm not going to have it. This I'm just going to remove it. And try anyhow is required, no doubt. This is not required. But now what we are going to do is, we will create a scanner object so that you can read the corresponding thing. Scanner, C equal to new scanner of system dot not double quote. We are creating a scanner and then you create a string variable, string, that is a name, string followed by name. And name comma, if you want, phone number. Phone number is phone asset, just phone, let us say. Now there are two things. So first is to load actually. But while loading, we also require the corresponding thing, hash map. So you say hash map of string. So that object you are going to get it into here. Hash map of string comma string, PH. That's it, semicolon. You are only creating the hash map object. You are only declaring the hash map object. But the actual creation happens in the load. That you are going to get it into this particular. So how are you going to do this? Try. Try is okay. This is going to be like this. All right. So here PH equal to load. Load. You are going to load it. Load what? Load the aux of 0. Aux of 0 contains the file name. So you are passing it as it is to that. You are loading all the details into the hash map, and whatever is created is going to be returned here. So that PH now, PH is going to contain the actual details. So that the searching will happen now on PH, not on the file every time. So if any problem is there, like it's going to take care of it, otherwise it will come to this particular bottom. Here, what are you going to do it? You will ask the user to enter any name and it's going to tell you what is the phone number. Any number of times you can keep doing that. So we'll say just simply while true, some logic. As long as you want the service, right? You can take the service from this. So now you have to enter the user, ask the user to enter the name of the candidate. System dot out dot name column. We are displaying a prompt so that the user can enter the name of the candidate. And now you have to read that. So you say name is equal to scanner object, right? SC dot. How do you get a name? SC dot. Next int, next line, that kind of stuff we have. So you have next line, let us say, one entire line. Next line. So you are reading the name of the candidate. And now you have to search within that. So what are you going to get it? So you can say phone is equal to phone equal to. Now you have to search within that. So PH is the one where you have to get dot get of name. PH dot get of name. If it is there, it's going to get into phone. If it is not there, you are going to get null value into phone. Right? So now you can verify if phone is equal to null. That means it's not there. It's not there in the database. So you can just simply display saying that system dot out dot println of what. So name doesn't exist, right? Database. So and so phone number doesn't exist for so and so name. So instead of println, let us use printf so that it becomes easy for us. Okay. So phone number or number or whatever number does not exist. Or whom, that you will have to specify percentage yes. And then a new line. To whom it is name. Name is what has actually failed. So else, that means it has got the details. But you can actually display it onto the screen. Right. So number of, right? Number of so and so is, and whatever you got it, right? Percentage yes. So number of what? First name and then the phone. So you are going to display. Again, after doing this, what you can do, what is that our interest is to continue this. To continue this particular thing. So it's already there. So what we shall do is to remove this particular line. And this is a while loop. So what are you doing here? If you examine this while loop, you are continuously displaying the prompt. User is going to enter the name and that you are going to search it and display. And again, it's going to display the prompt. And as long as you are happy with that, you continue. Otherwise, at the end, you just simply break it. So it's a forever kind of a loop kind of a program. Before searching here, you are actually loading. And that loading may fail. That's why you are putting it into try block. Try ph equal to load of aux of 0. And you are loading it into hash map. Hash map that has key value pairs, and both of them are strings here. And this is how you are actually doing. So here is the logic is going to be the same. hash map of string comma string load, because it is load is returning that particular object. So class name must be specified. Okay, so we are about to close the session, like almost coming to that. So by just simply saving it and then create some numbers, right? Some 4 numbers. For example, Amar 9848012345, and then maybe Kamala 9450, followed by all ones, and then maybe Bala, which is 781212, and then Gaurav or some Hari. Maybe 78 is already done. 9 followed by 909090. Some fancy numbers like this. So after this, now let us save it into the file. So what file can we call it? Mobiles or phones, something like that. Phones.txt. .txt. .txt is already there, so no issue. Phones.txt. So this is saved into phones.txt. Now let us go into compilation part. So clear the screen first to begin with, and then Java C followed by what is the file name that we are given? File name is phone search. Phone search.java. So there are some problems there. Let us see. Line number 25. Those are the issues. Let us look into that. Try without catch. Finally, our resource declarations. So line number 25. I ph equal to this, catch of exception E, రెండు bracelets say ikkada. That's the problem, right? So try this and then catch of exception E, all that. So now this is okay. Somehow one extra this thing has come. So now still there is phone equal to ph dot get. Variable ph might not have been initialized, right? So he is talking about that particular thing. So ph is not initialized. So his problem is that let us look into that. Actually, it's getting from elsewhere. So ph and hash map ph equal to load of that aux. So what is his problem here? Let us see, like ph equal to null value to begin with. It's not required, but somehow is complaining. Let us see. ph equal to load of aux of 0. Then this is the load method, load of string followed by that. Throws exception, all that is fine. And then ph is a new hash map of string comma string. And then ultimately we must be returning that. Return ph. Right. Everything is fine actually. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. ph dot get. Might not have been initialized. Line number 33 dot get. Dot get. So why is that he is actually
Not saved, sir. Not saved.
huh?
They showed red mark, sir. They showed red mark here on phone search. These need to be saved, sir.
I say. Is it?
Yeah.
చేశాను అలా కాదే చూద్దాం ఓకే 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 a different error now. All right, so maybe so I'm because coming to the end I'm worried whether all of you are following or not, so it is stretching a little bit. All right, so that's saved now. Thank you for that. Line number 37 now, else without if. So there are some problems. Two else's are there. So these problems are creeping up. Because I want you to see the screen, like that's why font sizes increase, then entire program doesn't fit, those problems are there. Okay, so else part now, that is also taken care of it. All right, so this is how line by line, like because all this is possible only with proper understanding. Errors will come. So, but then reading the error message, what to do there when you go there and all that. So that is going to happen there. So now the compilation part is done, but how about this thing? Like what is the file name that we have specified? Phones.txt. This is the one that contains. So now we'll specify Java followed by phone search, right? Phone search, this thing. You have to specify Java followed by phone search. That's all. But you have to specify the what is this thing like
File name.
file name you have to specify phones.txt. It's going to load. It can be any big, like for our understanding, we have entered only 4 lines. So this can have 1 million records also. Still, it's going to work. That's the beauty of it. So now it is asking name. What is the name of it? So let us say Bala. The number of Bala is so and so. So Bala is its matching property. Similarly, Hari is there. If you give Hari like this, naturally it says doesn't, because it is case sensitive search we are doing. But common sense says that you should actually search for case insensitive. That is a better this thing. So in such cases, what you have to do is, while storing as well as retrieving, convert that into any one case, either lowercase or uppercase, and store that. So your key, always convert that into lowercase while storing as well as retrieving. Then it's going to like always give you what is the name and what are the things and all that. So that part you should be able to do that without any hesitation. You enter something like this, nothing is there. So you enter some other candidate WER. So it goes on like that. It is working fine. Only thing is lowercase, uppercase. I think all of you should be able to put some effort from your own by using, as I said, convert the data. Convert your names into lowercase or uppercase and then store. While retrieving also convert and then retrieve based on that. For that, conversion and all that, like you have lowercase and uppercase string methods are there. Straight away you can use those string methods. I think here, string methods, right? So we require. So there are many more. He is giving 22 more rows and all that. When you click on this, it's going to give you the corresponding. So this is the base. Join is empty, concatenation, splitting. It is here to lowercase. Returns a string in lowercase. So apply this to lowercase on every string that you are actually storing while retrieving as well as that. Then because it is operating on the same lowercase, you are going to get the matching related stuff. Is one possibility. So that's the only possibility here because you are not searching, you are not comparing anything. So you have to convert in this particular manner. So coming back to this now, what is the logic here that we have taken up? There are 2 steps. One is the loading of the data. The other one is the searching of that. While loading, you are creating a hash map so that search becomes very quick. And hash map usage is going to be like this. Essentially, hash map is a class that is available in java.util. And it requires key value pairs. So you have to specify what is the data type of the key, what is the data type of the value. So both of them are going to be the classes, not the basic data types. So naturally here, how are you going to specify that? By using the angular bracket. Syntax is very important. These are generics, they are called. I have not covered in fact, but like It is not fixed on something always. So that's why that flexibility comes angular brackets in Java language. Like, for example, STLs in C++ language, uh, right? So templates. So templates basically is going to be useful there. So whereas in Java, it's called as generics. So hash map of string comma string. So this load method returns object of this particular class. That's why you are specifying the class name. So, and then it takes the parameter as a file name. It is likely to throw an exception. It may fail. So here you are creating all that. Hash map of string comma string, ph equal to that. So because you are creating the object, you need to have these parameters. And then line, words, all that. Usually you are opening every line, you are breaking. You are breaking that by using the split method. It's very important. It's very much more powerful, but as an example, we are using this. And then whatever that is there, you are adding that by using put method. That's it. So once it is loaded and put into hash map, then search becomes simple. So here you are actually doing all that business. And then here this is actual service. This is actual service where every time the user can type in and the system is going to come up with appropriate answer. So this is all from my side for the first mid examination. If you have any questions for that matter, I can answer. Any questions?
Sir, can you explain has next method once?
As next method. As next time on ఇప్పుడు మీకు for example, scanner like scanner is a class. Scanner అంటే basic గా most of the time like you can map it to anything in fact by using scanner. You can even read data from a file also in fact. But mostly you are using scanner on a keyboard. So you say new scanner of system.in. Scanner object తయారైంది బాగానే ఉంది. మనం ఇప్పుడు like you want to continuously read. You don't know how many items are there on which you want to work on. Generally, most of you, what you do is, initially, how many numbers you want to work on, and then you are going to specify. Enter the number of elements to be searched. So, or sorted like that. So, you will say 5. And after that, you have to enter 5 numbers. That is one logic. But that's not a real world scenario, actually. Real world scenario, every count in unnai. Right? You want to keep entering the data, for example. So as long as the data is being supplied, you want to read. So in such a scenario, the scanner object will help you actually. Whether is there any data more, you can verify. It's going to verify without actually reading that data. It's going to scan in the keyboard or whatever, whether the user has entered something there or not. So if it is entered, it's going to take it. So that as next method will help you to know that there is something more. So you are going to put a kind of a loop there, right? A while loop and all that. That's what we have already explained in one of the earlier classes, right? So essentially, for example, if you go through this particular, but we can't read that media file straight away. But I think in my folder, the files may be there. We can just look into factor or representation, hash code. So I don't know which one actually contains. I followed by file display phones. Add 2 numbers. Factors is something more. Factor slow. I don't know what is there. Or the best thing is we can use our utility, right? Java followed by grep, followed by has next. Right. So until end of file. So that's the actual file. Right. Okay. So this is the one, right? So you can see here, so what we are doing. So you want to read until the data is available, right? So you say scanner SC, new scanner of this. And then why are you doing this? You want to enter it. You want to actually read the number, right? So, but before reading, like you want to verify whether is there any data or not. Otherwise, like how are you going to like end this? Right? There is no way actually. So this as next method is going to tell you that there is some more data. If there is no data available, then it will get out of the loop. But how are you going to enter that? Already in the class we have specified how to enter end of the file. In the case of what it is, like you can run this in fact here. You can say until followed by this. Now it is saying greater than square of percentage D. That is what it is actually saying. 45. Square of 45 is what? So 23. So as long as you want to work on that, you can keep doing it. Then when you are over, what are you doing? You enter Control Z. In the case of Windows, if you are working on Linux, you have to enter Control D, indicating that this is the end of the data. So when you do like, it's going to get over. Another business is probably you ask the user to enter 0 when it is the last thing. So these are all different ways actually. Okay. Any other questions? But has next, in fact, you can actually ask for has next is a generic thing. You can even see whether is there another number that is there. You can say as next int. Specifically, you can ask. So all those methods are there. Okay, so if no questions are there, you can whoever have no questions can leave, no problem. If some of you would like to ask the questions, you have something, we will address that. Otherwise, we will close after some time. Okay, so prepare well. So Monday, the exam will be definitely tough in the sense that by seeing the performance of the previous candidates and all that, because most of the time you are coming with BTech degrees without actually proper programming skills. And suddenly you end up here. So those issues are there. Try to actually work on a computer. Only then you can learn programming. So no matter whether you have electrical background, electronic background, whatever, all of you can learn. There are so many resources on the net. But without putting your fingers on the computer, you cannot learn anything. Okay? So I'm just closing then.
Sir, go on.
Go on.
Sir, we have given few concepts, no, sir, like for what to prepare and all. This includes mostly programming also, no, sir, along with theoretical part.
Programming only mostly.
Programming only, sir. Okay.
Right. There may be a little bit theory, but mostly programs only. You will be given clearly a problem. What is the problem for which the program is to be written?
Okay.
So you have to read the problem, understand, and write the program for that.
How about the program you have shared previously, sir?
Programs?
You have shared few programs previously, no, sir, through Mediafire. So even that again, you will be giving a scenario, no, sir. Those are
Definitely.
just for reference.
The problem will be thoroughly explained to you. See, what is the input expected for the program and what is the expected output will be clearly mentioned. You will understand, and there won't be a big logic that is required. What all that is required is you must have a reasonably good knowledge on Java. Some of these, especially the mentioned classes, the methods inside, how to create objects of them, how to write static methods, right? How to work on command line arguments. These basics you must be sound enough. Then using them, like very small problems only will be given. You don't have to worry anything. The problems will be simple. There may be some repetition of whatever is already discussed also. ఇప్పుడు మనం చేసిన సేమ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ కూడా అడగచ్చు 1 or 2.
Yes, of course, we have seen few programs through MediaFire, no, sir. That's the reason I just wanted to get a clarity from you.
Right. That I am only sharing everything what we are talking here in different formats. Right. Whatever program we are writing here, the same programs I posted on MediaFire, so that in case you have some interest to download, because like you have not followed, some of you are using mobile phones. So because of which I am just sharing as much information as possible to you. But from your end, you have to work on. Right.
Right, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks for clarity.
Right. Any other questions?
Sir, can we expect these two programs which were taught just now? I mean, through MediaFire, sir.
I will post it. I will post it.
Fine, sir.
Sure.
Thanks, sir. That's it from my end, sir. I'm done.
Right. No problem. I'm just, any other questions? I'm just waiting. I'm about to close anyhow. Right.